Dear child, the room has been quiet for a long time, hasn't it, my child? Not quiet on the outside only, but in that hidden place where you keep your guarded thoughts, your tired hope, your questions you do not say aloud. You have smiled for people when your heart felt folded in on itself. You have answered messages, finished tasks, shown up where you were needed, and still carried that ache that no schedule can soften. Beloved, you have been wondering whether staying guarded is safer than wanting anything deeply again. You have thought, if I open too much I will be hurt. You have wondered, what if I reach forward and nothing reaches back? And in the quieter hours when the day no longer distracts you, you have felt the old fear whisper, what if I am the one who always gives more? What if I hope again and lose again? Dear heart, you did not become careful for no reason. You learned to tighten your soul when life felt uncertain. You learned to watch faces, to measure tone, to predict disappointment before it touched you. You learned to stand strong even when strength felt expensive. And now you are weary not only from pain but from carrying protection like armor that never comes off. Precious one, I do not speak to shame your caution. I speak because I understand what it cost you to become this defended. I know the nights when your body was still but your mind would not settle. I know the private rehearsals, the imagined conversations, the ways you braced yourself before anyone could change their mind about you. I know how disappointment can make the future feel smaller. I know how rejection, even old rejection, can leave a chill in the room long after the moment has passed. Sweet soul, you have not been weak. You have been surviving with the tools you had. You have been trying to stay whole in places that asked you to pretend you were untouched. You have been trying to protect what still felt tender. And yet, even with all your caution, something in you still longs for a softer way to live. Something in you is tired of holding every door shut with both hands. Something in you wants peace more than control. My dear one, that longing is not foolish. That longing is not immaturity. That longing is not proof that you have learned nothing. It is the quiet wisdom of your heart asking for air. It is the truth in you that knows you were not made to live clenched forever. Loved one, there is a difference between discernment and permanent fear. There is a difference between wisdom and exile. There is a difference between protecting your heart and imprisoning it. You have been leaning so hard on self-protection that you have begun to confuse it with safety. But constant guarding is not the same as deep security. Real security does not come from never feeling vulnerable. It comes from knowing that even when you are tender, you are held. Beloved, listen closely now. You do not have to pry yourself open all at once. You do not have to become fearless overnight. You do not have to spill every hidden thought to prove your courage. And you do not need to force tenderness just because you are tired of being hard. I am speaking of something gentler, a loosening, a turning, a willingness to stop gripping so tightly what was only ever meant to be carried by both of us. Dear heart, this is where healing begins more often than you think. Not in a dramatic moment, not in a perfect speech, not in one grand act that suddenly changes everything. It begins when you stop arguing with your own need. It begins when you admit, even quietly, I do want closeness. I do want peace. I do want to live without bracing every minute. That honesty is not dangerous. That honesty is the first soft light entering a room that has been shut for too long. Precious one, I have never been disturbed by your caution. I have never stood at a distance rolling my eyes at your hesitation. I have never asked you to heal by pretending. When you went silent, I stayed near. When you pulled back, I did not chase you with pressure. When you built inward walls, I understood what storms you thought they were keeping out. Sweet soul, I am patient with the pace of your heart. I am not keeping score of how quickly you soften. I am not measuring your worth by how fast you trust again. I am not disappointed that you still tremble when something good begins to get close. You think your fear disqualifies you from deep peace. It does not. You think your hesitation means you are failing. It does not. You think your caution makes you difficult to love. No, dear one, it makes you human. And I know how to care for human hearts. My child, you have been asking, even if only inwardly, what it means to truly win. You have seen the world define victory as being untouchable, unbothered, always ahead, always certain, always in control. But that kind of victory leaves many people lonely in their own success. It leaves them admired and exhausted. It leaves them defended and unseen. The deeper triumph is quieter. It is the steady courage to stay soft without becoming naive. It is the strength to remain kind without abandoning yourself. It is the grace to tell the truth without turning cruel. It is the freedom to live with an unguarded center because you know your worth does not rise and fall with other people's responses. Beloved family, these messages are created with prayer, care, and sincere dedication. We continue this mission with faith each day. If you feel led to support this ministry, you can find the support link in the description and in the comment box below. Beloved, this is the victory I want for you. Not the kind that makes you harder, the kind that makes you whole. Not the kind that proves yourself to every watching eye, the kind that returns you to your own living heart. Dear heart, there are places in you that still believe love must be earned through strain. There are old bruised beliefs that tell you must be impressive enough, easy enough, useful enough, strong enough to be kept. Those beliefs have spoken loudly for a long time, but they are not truth. Not because you never struggle, not because you always say the right thing, not because you have mastered every wound. You are wanted because you are yours to me. You are cherished before your performance begins. You are not valuable only when you are calm, composed, productive, or agreeable. Loved one, your worth is not fragile. It does not crack because someone misunderstood you. It does not disappear because a door closed. It does not diminish because a person failed to honor what you offered. And it does not become uncertain simply because you feel uncertain. This matters because when you do not know what you are worth, every interaction becomes a trial. Every silence feels loaded. Every delay feels personal. Every small change in tone feels like danger. Every decision begins to sound like, will I be chosen? Will I be dismissed? Will I matter here? Sweet soul, I want to lift that burden from your shoulders. You were never meant to drag your identity through every room hoping someone would stamp it with approval. You do not need another person's confusion to become your mirror. You do not need another person's inconsistency to become your definition. You do not need to shrink your needs in order to secure affection. Precious one, I am teaching you a steadier way. Come close enough to hear this clearly. When your heart is anchored in being deeply loved, you stop begging scraps to tell you who you are. Then you can listen better. Then you can choose better. Then you can notice what is nourishing and what is merely familiar. Then you stop calling chaos chemistry. Then you stop calling anxiety intuition. Then you stop calling self-erasure peacekeeping. Beloved, what if the next step is not to chase harder, prove more, or shut down deeper? What if the next step is to become honest about where your heart has been starving? You need steadiness. You need tenderness that does not demand you betray yourself. You need room to be real without fearing you will be punished for it. Dear heart, it is all right to admit that. Needing safety does not make you needy. Needing care does not make you weak. Needing gentleness does not make you childish. It makes you alive. And the part of you that wants to be met well is not asking for too much. It is asking for what is fitting for a heart made for love, truth, and rest. My dear one, sometimes you think the answer is to become smaller, quieter, less affected, less eager, less visible. You imagine that if you can just need less, you can hurt less. But numbness is not peace. Detachment is not freedom. A sealed heart cannot be wounded easily, but it cannot be warmed deeply either. And I want warmth for you, not shallow excitement, not temporary distraction. Warmth that reaches the places you stopped expecting anyone to touch with care. Loved one, there is a doorway inside you that fear has guarded for years. On one side stands the self who learned to endure. On the other side waits the self who can finally rest, speak plainly, and stop living as if love must be negotiated through tension. I am not rushing you through that doorway. I am standing with you beside it, steady and calm, while your hand learns it does not have to shake forever. And when you are ready to ease the latch a little, you will find not accusation, not demand, not a test you must pass, but room. Room to be honest. Room to be unfinished. Room to be held while you are still becoming. Sweet soul, there are practical ways this new tenderness will begin to show itself. You will notice when your body tightens before your mind admits you are afraid. You will pause before saying yes to what drains you. You will stop calling confusion a sign to work harder. You will speak more simply. You will wait before assuming the worst. You will leave room for silence without deciding that silence means rejection. You will learn that clarity is kindness, and that uncertainty does not always mean danger. Beloved, some of your healing will look very ordinary. A calmer response, a slower answer, a boundary spoken without apology dripping from it, a moment of rest without explaining why you needed it, an honest sentence instead of a polished one, a choice to stop chasing what keeps teaching your heart to doubt itself. These small things are not small when they are building a new inner home. Dear heart, you have sometimes feared that if you stop striving so hard, everything good will pass you by. But frantic effort is not what keeps blessings near. Exhaustion is not a love language. Overfunctioning is not the secret to being treasured. And constant vigilance is not what causes the right things to stay. Precious one, what is meant to nourish you will not require you to betray your own soul for admission. What is healthy will not feed on your panic. What is honest will not demand you become unreadable to survive it. And what is truly aligned for you will not need you to disappear in order to hold on to it. Sweet soul, there may still be losses. There may still be moments when someone cannot meet you with the maturity, clarity, or steadiness you hoped for. I will not lie to you and say every path will suddenly turn easy. But I will tell you this: you do not have to break every time something ends. You do not have to collapse inward every time another person fails to love well. You do not have to make a home inside disappointment. You can grieve without becoming defined by grief. You can feel sorrow without handing it the title deed to your future. You can be tender without being taken apart. Beloved, this is because your center is shifting. Little by little you are learning to live from a place deeper than reaction, deeper than panic, deeper than old scripts that told you to brace first and feel later. My child, hear the gentleness in me now. Winning is not always loud. Sometimes it is this the moment you do not abandon yourself. Sometimes it is this the moment you tell the truth about what hurts without making yourself ashamed for hurting. Sometimes it is this the moment you stop begging for clarity from people committed to confusion. Sometimes it is this the moment you choose rest instead of one more round of inner argument. Sometimes it is this the moment you believe that being loved well does not have to feel like a constant emergency. Dear one, I want you to know that your softness is not the enemy. Your sensitivity is not a flaw to be managed away. Your hope is not embarrassing. Your longing is not excessive. Your tears are not proof that you are behind. They are often the evidence that your heart is still alive enough to heal. Loved one, take no offense at your own tenderness. Do not speak to yourself as if your heart is an inconvenience. Do not mock your need for reassurance, for honesty, for care, for depth. Instead, bring those needs into the light where they can be held wisely. That is how they stop ruling you secretly. That is how they stop leaking through overreaction, people-pleasing, or silence. That is how they begin to rest. Beloved, when you feel the old fear rise, you do not need to become frightened of being frightened. Pause. Put your hand gently where the ache gathers. Notice what is true without building a disaster around it. You are feeling vulnerable. That is information, not a verdict. You are feeling uncertain. That is a moment, not an identity. You are feeling the pull to shut down. That is an old reflex, not your only option. Sweet soul, even now, as these words settle over you, some part of you is unclenching. Not because every answer has arrived, not because the whole future has been explained, but because something deeper than explanation is touching you. Steady love, clear seeing, patient nearness. The kind of care that does not crowd you, yet does not leave you alone with your heaviest thoughts. Dear heart, I have not lost sight of what is ahead for you. There is still goodness forming where you cannot yet see it. There are relationships that will feel less like survival and more like shelter. There are conversations that will not leave you questioning your value afterward. There are decisions you will make from calm strength instead of fear. There is a version of your life where your chest does not always feel like it is waiting for impact, and you are moving toward it, even now, in small faithful turnings that matter more than you realize. My dear one, you do not need to become someone else to enter that future. You do not need a different personality, a different story, or a spotless past. You need only to keep returning to what is honest, what is steady, what is kind, what does not ask you to betray your own soul. Beloved, I will help you learn the difference between urgency and truth. I will help you notice when fear is speaking with a convincing voice. I will help you remember that peace is not dullness. It is safety. It is room. It is enoughness. It is the gentle settling of a life that no longer has to perform for permission to exist. Precious one, I am proud of the hidden ways you have kept going. I am moved by the quiet courage it took to survive days no one fully understood. I honor the effort beneath your tired eyes. I honor the love you kept carrying even after disappointment. I honor the tenderness you protected because it mattered. And now I invite you very gently to protect it differently, not by sealing it away, by placing it where care can reach it. Dear heart, rest from the old belief that you must win love by exhausting yourself. Rest from the old habit of measuring your value by who stays, who replies, who chooses, who understands. Rest from the fear that if you are fully honest, you will be left behind. There is a kinder way opening before you, a quieter way, a truer way. And though you may step into it slowly, slowly is still movement. Sweet soul, I am nearer than your racing thoughts, nearer than the memory that still stings, nearer than the future you keep trying to solve before it arrives. When the night grows too loud, turn your attention toward this steady tenderness. When your chest tightens, remember you are held more deeply than fear can reach. When you do not know what comes next, you do not need to manufacture certainty. You can rest beside me for this moment, and then the next one, and then the next. Loved one, you are not being asked to leap into a life you cannot yet imagine, only to soften here, only to tell the truth here, only to stop calling your heart foolish for wanting what is good, only to believe that peace is not reserved for other people. It belongs near you too. Beloved, lay down the inner argument for a while. You do not have to solve yourself tonight. You do not have to decode every silence, repair every past wound, or predict every tomorrow. Be here. Be gently here. Let your soul feel what it is like to be addressed with kindness. Let your tired places lean against something steady. Let your guarded places discover they are not standing watch alone anymore. My child, I remain at the edge of every fear that once convinced you it had the final word. It does not. Love speaks more deeply, truth stands longer, peace outlasts panic, and the heart you thought had become too guarded to soften again is already beginning to warm. So rest now, dear heart, not in perfect answers but in faithful nearness, not in forced certainty but in quiet care. I am here in the stillness with you, and I will not wander from this tender place. Amen. Beloved family, we want to take a moment to thank those who have chosen to support this ministry. Your kindness and encouragement help us continue sharing God messages with the world. Please know that we truly appreciate you. May the Lord bless your life, guide your steps, and fill your home